presence in the United States.
Okay, then don't care that he's gay. Do you care that he was wrongfully imprisoned and disappeared into a foreign jail cell and there's nothing that anyone can do about it? Does that bother you?
According to his ACLU lawyer, he's not a part of the trend dialogue.
Do you truly believe?
I'm supposed to trust some open borders lawyer?
Do you truly believe that they...
Saagar sounds absolutely insane. I wanted to come back with the part 2 of the demolishment of Saagar. He really should stop. Krystal Ball is killing it. She is, I mean, just relentlessly dragging Saagar because he deserves to be dragged. He just does. I get it because, you know, there's all these talking points. On both sides, there's always talking points. So it's like, oh, our, you know, ACLU lawyer, he's a border lawyer. I'm supposed to trust him. No, wait a minute. I thought you were conservative. You're supposed to trust the law, right? Because that's what you're saying, right? So if he can litigate the case appropriately, okay, and say, hey, this person does not meet these requirements or something, that means that the law worked. But Saagar is just virtue signaling to what he thinks his base is, and he still doesn't understand his base.
Rounded up in this, they successfully rounded up every Trender Aragua gang member in the country.
And it's funny too. This is obviously insane for so many reasons, but it's funny that Saagar's like, "What? You expect me to trust some lawyers, an ACLU open borders lawyer?" But he is trusting the United States government, like uncritically regurgitating.
Literally just made the same point.
Regurgitating what they say is the reality about these people's situations, their documentation status, their gang affiliation status, whatever. He's willing to completely uncritically regurgitate that. But when it comes to the ACLU and the lawyers that are trying to advocate for the rights that are supposed to be afforded to everyone in this fucking country, all of a sudden it's, why would you trust that?
100%. Not only that, this gentleman was likely an asylum seeker, right? People who are seeking asylum, we often forget, it's not just a term for people who are desperately trying to get into our country. It's a legal terminology. And if you meet that legal terminology, you get to stay in America while your asylum case is being heard, right? And now we're disappearing people before that can happen, right? Before we can even judge if they have a valid asylum claim. So
that's literally what it is. Disappearing people. And I mean, MAGA has absolutely lost the plot. You know, look, again, I am an adult. I believe in progressing into what makes sense. That said, MAGA thinks it's base to take round up a bunch of people, lasso them up, and send them to Gitmo. Do we know who these people are? So, you know, government, like this country was founded on fighting government type of tyrannical things, right? And now MAGA tells you that rounding, lassoing up people, again, if you could at least prove who these people were, yo, do you understand the government could just come and pick you up and say, okay, I know it sounds like fear-mongering. It's not, but it literally, by the way, it just happened to MAGA back in 2020. How soon they forget. But J6, for the Patriot Act. But they just want to be cool. These people literally think war is cool too, by the way. They think literally, like I've been like in these debates, and they literally think war is cool. And I'm like, bro.
Do is when you get to America, yes, without the proper paperwork. Okay, anybody that's ever traveled internationally, you realize how fucking crazy it is dealing with borders and customs. Okay, I get it's a privileged thing to be able to travel internationally, but if you do take one thing away from it when you go, it's like, man, I really need to get into this country, and it's a pain in the ass, right? Now imagine if you go back home, you're gonna get killed, right? Your family could be in devastating danger, okay? And you're going to the one country that's promised the whole world that if you come there and work hard, you can make a living, you can feed your kids. Yeah. And also, by the way, that gang that's going to kill you, they're going to do it with American guns.
And by the way, you know who made that point in like 2016, 2017? Joe Rogan.
Exactly.
Remember that clip? He was like, can you fucking believe this? You think these people aren't trying to come here for a better life for them and their family? Like, this is fucking savagery to just deport them when clearly they're just trying to improve the state of them and their families' lives. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's it.
No, I don't.
Mission accomplished. Okay.
If anything, there's probably a lot more that need to go. Now, this is actually what I'm saying, is that at the end of the day, within the powers of the State Department, which has declared this in FTO, the powers within the executive are quite clear. I'll also note, Trump literally promised to do this on the campaign trail. So this was one of the most telegraphed actions in modern history.
With it? Are you good with it?
I mean, Krystal,
random people,
are you good with 8 to 10 million illegal immigrants coming in over 4 years?
We're changing the subject. Yes, I am. You know that I'm fine.
Yeah, okay, so then
are you good with changing the subject?
That's an important part of the story.
Are you comfortable with random people being snatched
I don't think
up?
that they're random. I think they're illegal immigrants.
Okay, give me your proof.
Of what? That they entered the country
No, give me your proof these are gang members.
I don't have to offer that proof. And actually, even the government doesn't necessarily have to do that either for deportation
Are you good with that?
With what?
Being able to snatch up random people.
But they're not random. They're here illegally. They're not citizens. You're
fine with, okay,
so you criminally entered our country.
You think that an appropriate punishment.
Wow.
It's giving me flashbacks watching Saagar argue.
Number one, sorry for that. I don't know what that black screen was, and I'm probably not gonna edit it for this. You know what I mean, for the show. The thing is, Saagar, he's sitting here. He's okay. So he does not think that this happens. But it's still weird to me because the way they threw J6s in jail, I would think that MAGA would be aware of the fact that literally the government does anything, but they think that because it's a Trump government, it's not going to happen. That's insane.
To the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character in Trial of the Chicago 7. You know what I mean? A guy who will just immediately pivot to something irrelevant to justify someone else losing their fundamental constitutional rights, right? Like they, in the example in the film, right? It's Bobby Seals, who was a real life guy, but he's played by a man in the movie. And they keep saying, oh, your attorney is standing right there. And he's like, well, I'm not his attorney. Bobby Seale has another attorney, and he asked for a postponement in his trial because his attorney's in the hospital and he can't be here. You know, oh, well, his attorney's right there, or you're refusing an attorney. They do this all the fucking time, right, with weird legalese to justify their improper action. What Saagar is doing right now is he's using an entirely irrelevant talking point, which is that immigration, 8 to 10 million people came across the border during the Biden administration. I have the right to, suspend habeas corpus, right? Now I have the right to abduct people from the streets. Now, because of the Lake and Riley Act. And
by the way, Biden was vicious on the border, too. It's not like Biden was in any way some liberal open borders president.
Biden was actually, he was actually vicious on the border because a lot of people don't know that. And, this is when I started really paying attention to the manipulation. I won't say started, but I was already, because I was always paying attention. Because I'm a very cynical person, so I think everything is manipulation. But this is when I was looking, I was like, wait a minute, Joe Biden's actually tightening up on the border. How come Fox News isn't talking about this? How come these people aren't talking about this? I think that they thought they were going to run Joe Biden, and then he started to clean up the administration, the people around him, right? Because I personally don't believe any president makes any decisions. I'm kind of, what I've become not an anarchist per se, but I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Saagar is living in a dream world. And people like this, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say he's very un-American because he's just being conservative because it's cool. He got his everybody getting a makeover. Shout out to him. I'm not mad at him. Everybody gets their bag. Whatever you do, what you need to do. But these lies are not good. And I'm glad that these two are opposite from each other on the same show, so that people can see, she's not delusional, and there might even be things I don't agree with her on, which is fine. He thinks that he's just living in W's. It's going to be really sad when things start showing themselves around here. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon, please. I probably forgot to say, if you made it this far, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.